And breaking news tonight in North Carolina's special election. Republican Dan Bishop wins the 9th district over Democrat Dan McCready in a very tight race. Good evening. I'm Angela Taylor.
And I'm Marius Payton. Thanks so much for joining us. Republican Dan Bishop and Democrat Dan McCready spent this special election day pushing for last-minute support. Both addressed their supporters within the last half hour.
And this special election made headlines, national headlines, when the initial results were thrown out following an election fraud investigation. CBS 17's Michael Hyland brings us up to speed on that. Michael.
Yeah, even though Democrat Dan McCready won in early voting, Republican Dan Bishop and the Republican Party helped to turn out people today to push him over the edge tonight. He won by about 4,000 votes. Let's take a look at the totals here. Republican Dan Bishop winning 51% of the vote to Democrat Dan McCready's 49%. Dan Bishop spoke a few minutes ago thanking his supporters and probably his most vocal and most prominent supporter, President Donald Trump.
Look how he laid himself on the line for this race. I'm grateful for the president's extraordinary support throughout this campaign, and especially the closing barnstorm ending with last night's rally in Fayetteville.
The president rallied supporters for Dan Bishop, urging them to turn out today and vote for him in this special election. And tonight he congratulated Dan Bishop on his win, as well as Greg Murphy, who won in the special election in the 3rd Congressional District. We also heard from Democrat Dan McCready tonight, who talked about the 27-month campaign he's had for this seat in Congress. It's unprecedented. He's run for this now twice, with last year's election and then this special election. Here's what he told his supporters, especially focusing in on the fraud investigation in last year's results.
When the people in power sought to silence the voices of the voters, stole their ballots, forged signatures for them, filled in vote choices for them, when they perpetrated the largest case of election fraud in recent American history, we fought back and we won.
And there's evidence tonight that the president's push last night helped Dan Bishop go over the edge. He won in Cumberland County by just a few dozen votes, even though Dan McCready won in Cumberland County in 2018. And Dan McCready only won by a few hundred votes in Robeson County, even though he won by a few thousand in 2018. Marius?